Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Let's Not Meet. For this video I chose 3 stories that are not only thrilling, but that also bring an important lesson. So let's not waste any time and get started with the first story. This one's from user Obekimrad. This happened a few months ago in the McDonald's at Copenhagen station. I'm not Danish, only visiting the country for one day, and since I wanted to travel cheap, I decided to take the cheapest bus there, which just so happened to be the one arriving at 11 PM the day before. I thought I could save even more money by not renting a bed somewhere and instead spending the night awake or half asleep at the station, do my business the next day, and sleep long and well on the bus back home. So this McDonald's is open 24/7. I pretty early discovered that the station was too cold for me to get some shut-eye. So I went inside and bought a coffee and sat down at an empty table. Plenty of lighting and semi-drunk people to keep me awake, I thought. I should add I'm 23 and female. After some while sitting in my spot, a strange guy walked over and placed a full cup of soda on my table. He said in Danish something I believe meant, "I ate my food already, I didn't drink any, you should have it instead." I am Swedish, and although some Swedes understand Danish perfectly well, I have some difficulties doing so. So this is just a guess. Anyway, I didn't really pay much attention to the cup after it was put on my table. Just wrote it off as some random drunk guy trying to flirt. But I noticed that in front of me, a table away, sat another guy, and he was watching me closely, because we did lock eyes the time I looked up to peek at him. This creeped me out. I really didn't like being watched like this, and he just sat there for nearly an hour, even though he had no food in front of him. In the end, this dude stood up and walked over to me, and I cursed internally thinking I'd have to defend myself and tell him to leave. But he turned, and there stood the guy that had left the soda cup on my table. He told the soda guy to leave after pushing the soda cup back into his arms and that he didn't want to see him anywhere near this place again. Then he turned to me and explained, in English, that soda guy had walked by my table several times glancing at me and the cup and was probably waiting for me to drink it. He said he'd finished his meal a while ago and just stayed to watch over me but had to leave and reminded me to be careful. I hadn't even noticed soda guy supposedly pacing by. I was too fixated on this other dude who just happened to be the good guy watching over me. Who knows what was in that soda and what would have happened should I had gotten really thirsty and drank some of it. So thank you, McDonald's guy who watched over me, and let's not meet, soda guy. Well, it's a good thing OP didn't drink any of that soda. Who knows what was in it, to be honest. And it's a good thing that there was somebody paying attention. Even though he seemed a little creepy, it didn't turn out to be what OP thought at the beginning. For me, the moral of the story is stranger danger. Don't accept things from people you don't know, even if they seem incredibly nice and super well intended, like a free soda. And also, don't judge a book by its cover. The guy wasn't trying to creep on her, he was just trying to watch out that if she were to drink, he probably would have stopped her. What do you guys think? Have any of you ever been in a situation where you thought somebody was creepy or something like that and they actually ended up being a good person? Alright, on that note, let's move on to the main story. This one is from Kenny C5576. One time I went to a bar with one of my friends. I had just turned 21, so I hadn't gone to many bars up to that point. My friend was drinking on the way to the bar, so he was already pretty drunk when we got there. When I sat at the bar, a cute girl came and talked to me and my friend. She said her name was Candace, and I noticed she had really bright red hair. I assumed she dyed it. It was pretty, but unnatural. Anyways, this girl was flirting with me and my friend. She could tell my friend was already very drunk. To be honest, I played along like I was drunk already too, since it seemed to be working for my friend. I didn't know if she was just trying to get free drinks, so I told her we didn't have much money. She offered to buy us drinks. She kept buying us drinks and I started to get confused as to who she liked between me and my friend. My friend went to the bathroom. Before he came back, he was kicked out by the bouncers. He was too drunk. Candace and I went outside with him. She kept telling him to go home with her. He was so out of it he could barely answer her. I told her he was too drunk and that I couldn't let him go anywhere. I didn't want him to wake up hungover in some random house with no car and no idea what happened. Candace kept pushing it, saying that she would take care of him, but I told her no because I had to stay with him. I was more sober than him and he was my responsibility. I told her the only way he was going anywhere was if I tagged along. I assumed she thought that I was jealous or C-blocking, but my friend could barely stand and lost interest in Candace already at that point. She immediately started flirting with me and offered to get my friend a taxi to drive him home and said we could go to her place alone. At this point, I had a few drinks and I was pretty buzzed, so I agreed. We took my friend to the taxi and walked to her car. I slightly stumbled on the way to her car. "Whoa, you're pretty drunk, huh?" she said, smiling as she held on to my arm. "Yeah," I said. I don't know why, but I just felt slightly shy and anxious. Everything was just happening too easy for me, so I felt uneasy. We got in her car, we drove down the street. "Wanna stop at the liquor store and get some more drinks? I'll buy, so don't worry about paying," she offered. I didn't want to drink any more than I already did. I was already buzzed and wanted to be able to carry myself throughout the rest of the night. Sometimes I made myself look stupid when I'm drunk, so I didn't want to ruin anything with Candace more than I already did earlier with telling her my friend was too drunk. I told her I was already drunk enough, but she insisted. I didn't want to seem lame, so I told her to get me a pint of liquor with some apple juice to chase it. She went in the store and came out with a lot more than just a pint. I assumed she wanted to drink more also, and that's why she got a fifth instead of a pint. On the car ride, we passed the bottle back and forth, but she took tiny sips. I tried to take tiny sips, but she kept passing me the bottle and telling me to drink. I somehow managed to drink all of my apple juice and pretended to drink the bottle by spitting the liquor in the apple juice bottle. I tossed the apple juice bottle full of liquor out the window before she saw it. I didn't want her to know I was acting drunker than I was. She actually believed I was sloppy drunk when I was simply buzzed. I took a couple more sips of liquor and finished the bottle. Throughout the car ride, I called her the wrong name a couple of times to get a reaction out of her. She didn't react to it. She just kept letting me call her Carla without correcting me. For some reason, I thought she lied to me about her name initially. We drove up to her house and I pretended to trip and stumble into her front door. She helped me walk inside by holding me up. She opened her front door, which was unlocked. We walked in her house. She closed her front door and then locked it. I thought that was strange, but assumed she didn't want anyone walking in on us. I told her I had to use the bathroom. I walked into her bathroom, locked the door, and looked in the mirror. I just felt strange. I felt like something was off. I felt myself becoming more drunk from finishing the bottle earlier. I turned on the sink to make noise and made myself vomit the liquor I drank. I flushed and went to the sink and started drinking the tap water out of my hands to sober up. I just didn't want to be drunk, but I still wanted to hook up with Candace, so I wanted to pretend to be drunk. I turned the sink off and I could hear her talking to someone. "He's drunk as hell. He can barely stand up. You do it." Who was she talking to and do what? I walked out of the bathroom and into the living room. The moment I stepped into the living room, I saw her walking into another room. All I could see was the back of her head, that strange, very bright red hair go into another room. I didn't see her face or anything. I just saw her kind of walk fast into the room. The living room was pretty dark. "Hey, where are you going?" I slurred like I was drunk. She walked back into the dark living room and up to me. "Let's go in my room," she said. I looked at her bright red hair and then into her eyes. They were different. Her face was different. It was another girl with the same hair. That's when I realized it was another girl with the same wig on. It was a wig the whole time. She had changed it with the girl from earlier for whatever reason. My heart felt like it stopped, but I tried to look like I had no idea it was a different girl. I kind of smiled at her and told her I just needed to use the bathroom one more time and told her sorry I was so drunk. She said, "It's fine, just hurry up in there." I went into the bathroom and locked the door. I heard her whisper something to someone again. This time I think I heard a male voice whisper back. I honestly didn't concentrate on listening to exactly what she said. Something sketchy was going on and I had to get out of that house. I opened the bathroom window and jumped straight out of it and ran faster than I have ever ran in my life. I didn't look behind myself or anything. I just ran through the backyard, jumped the fence, ran through someone else's backyard, hit a road, and ran toward the main road. I kept running down the main road until I saw a Star CVS. I ran into the CVS and stood straight at the front of the store in front of the camera. I called a taxi and went home. I tried to think what happened that night. What was she or they planning that night? Why did she tell me a fake name? Why was she trying to get my friend and I so drunk? I thought maybe a robbery, but she kept spending money on us. She kept buying us drinks and even paid for my friend's taxi cab. And mostly, why did she wear a wig that she gave to another girl to wear? Who was she talking to? What did it mean? And what was in that room they tried to lure me into? The next day after this incident, I went back to the house with a couple of friends just to see what was going on. Nobody was there. No cars, no people, nothing. Just an empty house. I ended up finding out that the house was a summer rental, and whoever those people were, they broke into that house and used it for only that night and never came back. Well, OP, in my opinion, you can count yourself lucky you still have your kidneys. I read this story and the first thing I thought was somebody's trying to harvest organs here. I guess the moral of the story is similar to the story from before. Be careful with strangers just giving you things, especially things you eat or drink. What do you guys think? You agree this was some sort of organ harvesting kind of scheme? On a side note, I guess you could say that OP's wish to hook up with Candace is what put him in danger in the first place, and the same thing that saved him because he wanted to not be so drunk as to be able to perform. In any case, I hope OP learned his lesson. Alright, and on that note, let's move on to the final story. This one is from user Myrtle Wilson. I don't remember how old I was, just that I was small enough to fit in the front baby seat of a grocery cart. That'd put us in the late, very late 90s, early 2000s. I was grocery shopping with my mom at a Costco. For those who don't know the chain, it's basically a huge warehouse where everything is sold in bulk. Food, clothes, book. It's basically a Walmart, but if Walmart sold cereal boxes in counts of 3s or frozen dinners by the dozen. My mom has a habit of pulling her grocery cart down to one side of the aisle in stores, and then walking the length of the shelves, picking what she wants, and then coming back to the cart and dumping what she has in the basket. I don't get why she does it, but hey, moms do weird things. So I'm maybe 4 or 5, sitting in the front basket playing with my Game Boy Color, when she pulls over next to a fruit display in Costco and tells me that she's going to look at the different deals and to sit tight. I wasn't a very fidgety kid, so I said no problem. She's gone for a couple of minutes. I'm absorbed in Pokemon, so I don't really notice her walk up until the cart starts moving. Being a kid, I instinctively trust that she's the one pushing my cart. I was wrong. After a moment or two, I catch out of the corner of my vision her red nails. This is a problem because my mom never paints her nails and never ever wears them long. I look up. The lady pushing the cart is a little older than my mother. Same curly hair, but pulled back into a ponytail at the nape of her neck. I still remember she had a tan type skin with thick red lips, a heavy coat of eyeliner, and brown eyes. She was pretty skinny. Her teeth were yellowed and she smelled like what I didn't realize until later was bad body odor. This wasn't my mom, and I said so very loudly. She laughed and looked around and pushed the cart a little faster. I said it again, and she looked me dead in the eyes and said, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact wording, "Oh sweetie, what game are you playing? I am your mom." So the way Costco is set up, at least ours, is that in the produce area, instead of aisles, they're more like islands. They're large square setups. You can see the entire length of the produce section if you walk in that area. So of course I can see my actual mother a few displays away. I remember yelling as loud as I could, "Mom!" and watching her head whip around to look at me, right as this lady is trying to cover my mouth with her hand. I don't know if she decided then I wasn't worth it because I was so noisy, or if looking at my mother charging from a few displays over. A side note, my mom is not a petite woman. She's built like a linebacker and played roller derby and softball through college, up until I was about 10. She's more of a Nox than a human woman, but that's what I appreciate about her. But anyways, this woman squeezed her hand around my little face once and then booked it. My mom comes running up to me and starts asking me a million questions at once. My little brain thinks all of a sudden that I'm in trouble for using my outdoor voice inside, because she looks mad, so I start to cry. By the time she calmed me down, the lady was already gone, and reporting her to the head of security did butt kiss. Store never found her inside, and security cam footage showed her leaving, but never with anyone else. Don't know why she picked me or what it would have been for, but I'm just glad my real mom ended up scaring her away and that nothing became of it. So to the lady who tried to kidnap me from the Costco produce section, claiming to be my mother, let's not meet again. It's a good thing the kidnapper took that direction, otherwise maybe OP's not heard from again. The moral here is for parents, don't ever leave your kids unattended in a large place with a large crowd. And even though it might be a little bit more difficult to teach because, kids don't necessarily grasp the complexity of a situation, but teach them to scream and to understand stranger danger very well. And so we reached the end of the video. I truly hope you liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. And leave me a comment to see if you do like this kind of content so I can keep on making these types of videos. If you do like the content, don't forget to subscribe. And having said all that, I'll see you guys on the next video.